Hello everybody, welcome back to the Hot and Cold Hobbyist. I am at Walter Hall Golf Course in Everett, Washington for my very first episode of a series I am calling Chasing the 80s. The goal of this series is to get into the 80s. Very simple. Not the decade, but the score range. I would like to shoot below 90 on a course that is par 70 or higher. In other words, I'm forcing myself to shoot less than 20 over par. Now, my best round ever was 19 over par. And that was years ago, and I'm out of practice compared to when I was playing then. So this is sort of a goal of getting back to where I was and getting even better. Now, today is my first round of the 2025 season, and I am going to be tracking my stats using the 18 Birdies app. I'm going to use the stats I track from today to figure out which parts of my game I am going to work on to actually make the improvements I need to make. Golf is fun. I really enjoy it. I have a great time out here. But after the snowboarding season, I realized that if I really set goals for myself, I do get better at things. So why not apply that to golf? I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And let's mark this one off as hitting the fairway on this hole 2 par 5. See what happens on the second shot. So if I put in my stats for that hole, I shot a 5, double bogey. I had 2 putts. I missed the green right, and I had to take 2 chip shots to get on the green. That is a theme I'm already noticing. Lots of chip shots to get on the green. Easy area of improvement. Not that it's easy to improve, but it's easy to identify the area of improvement. But I won't get ahead of myself. I'll track the stats for now. I'll see what I end up with at the end. So that one, fairway hit, green miss short, 2 chips, 2 putts. I haven't been hating my putting lately. I haven't been loving it either, but I haven't been hating it. But chipping is the wild beast to tame right now. Is that a phrase people say? I think that's the first time I've ever said that. Let me know if you liked it down in the comments. Don't do that, comment about something else. But do comment and like and subscribe. Bummer. Lots of doubles and triples on the card. That is not what today is about. Today is about identifying the areas to improve. Gotta hit your putt. You know, something to think about too is that certain stats like greens and regulation doesn't even tell much of the story on a hole like the one I just had. It took me 6 shots to get onto the green. Yeah, I missed fairway. Yeah, I missed green, but there's like so much more to it, and I didn't even have any penalty strokes. I just had a lot of bad shots. So it's something to think about of just working on things like ball striking and keeping it out of trouble, not necessarily just to avoid penalties, but to keep it out of the low-hanging branches of trees and all that kind of stuff. And then to top it off, you can't even call it all chipping mistakes because I only had 1 chip and it was a good one. So just have to really pay attention. It seems to be coming down to chipping, yes, but also just number of strokes, which of course is the whole problem. So we're trying to narrow that down. Why couldn't that have been my first shot? I'm really gonna go over the hill. I haven't had to take a shot, like a partial wedge shot all round, which is crazy. I'm on the 16th hole, and that's the first time that's come up. And I just thinned it over the back of the green. I really thought there was a big hill there. I thought I was safe. You know, I'm guessing when looking back at the stats, it's going to be pretty obvious that driving well and chipping well is going to end in acceptable scores like bogeys. That's just the feeling I'm getting as I'm going through this round. I may see something even more glaringly obvious. I don't think I've had any one putt, so that would definitely be another one to think about. But I will review the stats when I'm done with the round and see if there is anything that I just haven't thought of or haven't noticed. Well, the first step to improvement is to admit you have a problem. I have a problem with my short game. Tallying everything up, I had 22 chip shots and 39 putts. I'm going to say this is a good bad thing in that I at least have a very clear way to get better and shoot lower scores. And that is chipping especially needs to improve. Here's why I'm focusing on the chipping. I had a lot of 2 putts, and those really weren't bad putts. But the fact was, my single chip shots or even double chip shots were still leaving me way too far away from the hole to where a 1 putt from there was just not realistic anyway. So I really enjoyed using the 18 Birdies app to track those stats. It gives me a really clear picture of how my round went. I know I'm going to identify some goals coming out of this, which is going to have to do with improving chipping, improving putting, and hitting more greens in the first place. But I really want to start with chipping because I think if I can just chip it closer and chip it close on my first attempt anytime I miss a green, I'm going to start dropping a lot of strokes really quickly because I'll drop chips and putts that way. That's what the stats are telling me at the end of this first episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe while you're here. Keep an eye out for episode 2, and I will try and take action based on the stats I tracked today. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
Baby, you give me ice and fire.